So, here we go again. This time in English. First of all, I want to say thank you to all who have been watching my video. Thank you so much. I really received an insane amount of replies, private messages, comments. I was completely surprised of everyone who has been watching and giving me such supportive, beautiful, sweet words. Thank you so much for everything. I didn't expect so much and so many replies on the video I shared. As you notice, I'm doing this in English. I also received a lot of requests to do this in English. This makes me even more nervous than last time, but yeah. So I'm going to try to do this and see how it goes. And also I would love to hear your replies if you prefer to have it in Dutch or if you're okay with having it in English. Let me know. Yeah, first of all, also, thank you again for your comments. Please tag anyone who is related to this subject of being single. I've been single for 15 years and I've been on a long journey of self-love, happiness, inner happiness. And the funny thing was, with all the comments I received, I also received a lot of feedback how to be more happy. I heard keep the faith and hold on, you can do this. Or if you let go, then he will come by itself. Or if you don't expect it, then love will come by. And believe me, this is not the first time I heard that in the last 15 years. So thank you for those comments. But the reason why I post this is not to receive any feedback on how to do it better or how I can be happier. Even though all these messages have a lot of wisdom in it, I truly see that. But the reason why I post this is to just share my story in the hope that I can inspire others on this journey of love and self-love. So feel free to comment. I will reply to it after my message, after this video, as soon as I can. Tag anyone who's related to the subject and yeah, like and share that. To share my message, that would be great. So yeah, what triggered me was there's nothing wrong with me being single. I heard so many things about how I can do better or how I can find the love of my life, but that's not what of course I'm looking for someone to meet someone, but I think the whole message is to be more happy with yourself, and being single is not something bad. I think being single is part of life, and everyone is going through their own journey of inner love and accepting the parts of yourself you like less. Or yeah, and some people do this in a relationship and others do this while being single, and apparently my path is to do this while being single, and it brought me a lot actually. I'm also very grateful for this journey, because instead of projecting my longing of love on someone else, I started to look inwards to see where the gap is within myself for this love. And yeah, it's funny that in my upbringing, I didn't receive a lot of love. There was a lot of tension and struggle in my upbringing and in my home, even aggression and everything. And when I fell in love for the first time, I was only 6 years old, and I remember it was on a boy much older. I think he was 16 or something, and maybe he thought I was a cute little girl, but I fell in love. And actually from that moment I projected my desire and my despair for love on a boy. And how weird it is that from that moment on it became a goal in itself to find love in someone else. And I was only 6 years old. So this whole thing of falling in love with someone else just to receive love and attention and to receive and to be seen, actually, that's the whole thing. And because of that, I projected something I needed for myself and I didn't receive in my upbringing on someone else. And I put my entire worthiness on someone else. I didn't have the worthiness of myself. I projected it on someone else. So with this in mind, my self-love was in the hands of someone else. So if someone accepted me as the way I am, then I would be good enough. So I attracted all these wrong kind of men, and I think a lot of women can relate to this, that they used their bodies and sex in return or in the hope for love. And I did this as well. And of course, the man just grabbed that and then threw it away, and bit by bit, my whole worthiness became less and less and less. And I think that brought also a lot of depression and sadness and despair. And I didn't understand what it was for and why didn't no one loved me. But you can imagine, if the longing for love and a gap inside of myself was in the hands of someone else, that it's a lot of pressure I brought on. So yeah, the more this happened and the more relationships didn't work out and the more men didn't want to give me love in return, I felt more and more worthless. And I became so depressed that even like finding a man became an obsession, became my only life goal. How weird it might seem, but this is something I faced. And I see this a lot around me with women who are also longing for a partner or also longing to have children, that it becomes an obsession and they don't know how to deal with this if it doesn't come along. And exactly that happened to me. And so 6 years ago, I got on a mission of my last mission in life. I thought like nothing is gonna happen, nothing is worth it anymore, so I'm gonna go do something else. And I did things like ayahuasca retreats, I went to a medium, I did hypnosis, you name it. I did all different kinds of things to find actually why love wasn't coming my way. And one of the biggest lessons I've learned is that I didn't love myself, most of it. But secondly, is that I had a choice to be happy. And that was a really, really tough one. I have the choice to be truly, deeply happy as long as I focus on the things that I like and focus on the positive things in life. And this whole thing of feeling miserable and feeling sad was actually, I found out that I was somehow addicted to this feeling of feeling miserable. Even though my entire body didn't want to feel that way, I didn't choose to focus on things that I liked. Not on my body. I only focused on the parts of my body what I didn't like. And as everyone knows, everything you focus on will grow. So this means that I only saw the ugly parts of myself. Not only from my body, but from everything of myself. I only saw the ugly things. And in my life, because that man wasn't there, I saw that life was worthless. Because there was nothing I liked. And then I realized I can choose to focus on the things that I do like. I enter a dark forest, but the sun might shine as well. There might be a blue sky, but are you willing to focus on it? So what I did is, on the beginning of my journey of self-love and inner happiness, is to start focusing on the things I was grateful for. And believe me, that was a tough journey when I was still depressed. What I did was actually, I was laying in bed saying at least 3 things I was grateful for. And I know that when you put up a fake smile, or a smile in general, that after 20 seconds, your brain is creating endorphins. And because of this, you feel more happy and you feel more alive. So I thought, okay, I don't feel this way at all, but I'm gonna fake it until I make it. So I was in bed with a fake smile and I said, I'm grateful for, and believe me, there was nothing I was grateful for because my focus wasn't there. So my fight was like, okay, I'm gonna win this battle with my depression. I'm gonna win this battle. So I said bit by bit, more and more things I was grateful for. From the food I ate, from the people who made that simple plate of food possible, people on the land, people in the supermarket, the people who were working in the trucks who were driving the food here, or you name it. Like, I tried to be grateful for all the small things, and bit by bit my happiness grew and it grew and it grew. And the same thing I did with my body. I started to focus on the things I did like about myself, the things I was grateful for, that was part of me. And bit by bit that part of me grew, and it's still growing. It's part of my life now to be grateful before I go to bed for all the things I have in my life, from my health to my food to my friends to my family to my house to my beautiful plants, you name it. I'm grateful, and that brought me a lot of happiness. So being single was tough, and it's still sometimes is still tough, but it brought me so much more than just this. And the thing is that I believe that we all have our struggles related to this, and some people do it in different ways than I do it. And if you can relate to it, feel free to tell me, because I'm very curious about your story, and I'm curious how you deal with this, how to be single. And are you happy being single, or are you putting it as a life goal? Because how can you, if you focus on that as a life goal and it's not there, how do you deal with that? I couldn't deal with it no more. So for me, even though it might still be a struggle, this is something, it helped me a lot. And the funny thing is, like this week, I had posted the most difficult part of myself, my biggest shame and my biggest fear on the internet, in the hope I would help and inspire others. And the funny thing was, I had a date this week with someone who has watched this video. Well, you can imagine sitting there and saying hello for the first time and saying like, okay, so you've seen the video, what do you think? And the funny thing was, he said, well, this date is gonna be useless anyways, because you've been single for 15 years, so it's not gonna end up anywhere, so why not give it a try? And I was like, yeah. And what I realized about myself is that I started to become more relaxed. And I realized that when I relate to a man in general, that somehow from the inside I try to make myself bigger and protect myself in a way. And this part of me being so vulnerable and open, and it was seen by him already, made me more small, more feminine probably, instead of masculine, like I'm good, see how I am, there's nothing wrong with me. And now it was like, there's still nothing wrong with me, but this is part of me, this is who I am right now. And I also shared a little bit about my history and where I come from, and I asked him eventually, so how does it feel? Like, do you feel fear or scared that I share these things, or how do you relate to this? And the beautiful thing was that he said, well, actually, you come across as a very stable, loving person. So I have the feeling that no matter what, if we have a good connection, that we might be able to figure it out. I was like, wow, I thought like with these that kind of things that they would run away. They would just go off and say like, okay, bye, this girl is like super crazy. But that didn't happen. And yeah, so with that in mind, today I went again on a date and that guy didn't see my video. And I was like, how can I be the same kind of vulnerable without him knowing my story behind me, without telling him that I've been single for so long? And it was beautiful to see that, because I didn't try to show off or try to show that I'm good enough or try to show that I'm worthy, that I was a lot more soft and I could totally focus on the other person and totally see if I would be interested in him, and totally see if what kind of things he likes in life. Instead of showing off about myself, he was telling about himself, and I was more interested actually. I didn't have things in the back of my mind about showing who I am. So that really, really helped me, and I can really recommend to try it, to find a way to be a little bit more soft or share something vulnerable about yourself, because it's good that other people, men, but also other people can see a little bit about yourself. And what I've seen as well is that people can relate to you if you share a little bit of yourself. So the conversation becomes more smooth and becomes more open, and then there's also space for the other person to share something vulnerable about him or herself. So I really, really enjoyed doing that, and I really enjoyed trying this out, because it's an adventure. And the thing is, what I see with myself is that I still struggle to stay in balance. When someone touches me, or I'm intimate with someone, or someone I actually really, really like, then for me it's hard to still stay in balance, like between my deep desire and my happiness of being alone. And how I deal with the fact of being alone and also having this desire. I asked to a woman 2 weeks ago, and she is a therapist. So I'm going to her therapy this coming week to see how I can balance this a little bit better. Because I am happy, but I also have a desire, and I don't want to lose myself in this desire. So I'm gonna go on adventure the coming week and to see how this goes and what kind of advice she gives me, and maybe some tools. So yeah, I'm very excited to share this with you for the next week. I hope you really enjoyed watching this week. Thank you all for watching. Please leave your comments below. I come back to you as soon as I can, and share this with anyone you feel like who can relate to this. I really am very, very grateful that you've been watching, and everyone who will watch this, thank you so much, and I hope to see you next week. Ciao, with love.